Hello and welcome to this week's Hoosier News Source. I'm Kevin Wang.
And I'm Deanna Allbrittin. February 12th is the last day for IU students living in the residence halls to choose a room or apartment in their own neighborhood. If you currently live in a neighborhood different than the one you want to live in next year, you'll have to wait until February 16th to make your choice. So unfortunately, for the many students who don't live in Central neighborhood but want to upgrade from their dorm room to a Wilkie or Union Street apartment, patience is the key.
IU's opera program continues their 2011 season with the staging of two one-act operas. The show will be performed February 11th and 12th at the Music Arts Center. Hoosier News Source reporter Haley Nelson spoke with both cast and crew members for more details.
For someone who hasn't seen a lot of opera, this could be a great experience. I think that it's really great for IU students to come and watch opera here.
Students have that very opportunity with IU Opera's presentation of Puccini's Suor Angelica and Gianni Schicchi. Both one-act operas are being performed together February 4th, 5th, 11th, and 12th at the Musical Arts Center.
This production has been really fun because of James Marvel, the director.
These are young students performing at this high level is really a testament to the triumph of the human spirit on some levels.
Marvel suggests that hard work and dedication on the part of the opera performers and crew doesn't necessarily mean the audience will have to work hard to comprehend.
I would actually say that opera is not daunting at all. I mean, I think there's generally a stereotype that it's very snooty, but you know, I'm sitting here wearing a rock band t-shirt.
Operas here are all have super titles, and it's also especially this opera that I'm in, Gianni Schicchi, is extremely accessible. It's very funny. It's not a complicated story.
The tragedy, and you're like, well, I'm not sure that that piece was for me because it was too sad. Make sure that you stay for the comedy because it's hysterically funny.
Both operas proved to be powerful performances, so stay tuned for the rest of the 2011 opera season here at IU. Haley Nelson, Hoosier News Source.
Chinese President Hu Jintao's 4-day state visit to the United States last month was an important one for American diplomacy. Last Thursday, John Pomfret, a veteran foreign correspondent for the Washington Post, spoke to more than 100 people at IU about his take on this rising superpower in the East. Pomfret is an award-winning journalist who spent more than 15 years in Asia observing U.S. relations with Asian countries. His expertise in that region gave him a broad knowledge of Asian affairs. During last week's lecture, using the topic from his book China Lessons, Pomfret presented his ideas on China's role in the world economy and its future. Now let's take a look at some highlights.
My sense is over time, I think American reporting on China has become more and more fairer and fairer over time, and broader. So if anyone's a really good reporter, I think they could write fairly about China, even if you've never been there. I mean, Americans come to China with a whole history of preconceptions about the country, right? Yellow Horde, Fu Manchu, all that kind of stuff. And that's, sort of lurking in our unconscious as we look at the country. And you have to try to kind of get away from that. So a lot of reporting about China's military modernization kind of fits into that. They're dastardly, they're good at science, that kind of stuff.
Last week, HNS correspondent Nancy Tyree spoke with IU parking officials to clarify where and when students are permitted to park on campus. And the second part of this investigative report, she examines the consequences of illegal parking.
Between 2004 and 2009, Indiana University issued over 390,000 parking tickets. We spoke with Doug Porter to learn what you should do if you get one.
Most people now appeal online because it's the easiest. You can get the ticket, outside your residence hall at 9 o'clock at night and appeal it at 10 o'clock at night.
And whether you choose to appeal or pay your ticket, it is vital to take immediate action.
The biggest leverage we have to collect the tickets is that if the ticket is placed on your bursar bill, then you can't get services from the university until you settle your bursar bill. Of course, if you accumulate enough parking tickets, it's possible we'll tow your car and your car will disappear. So that's probably a pretty big incentive also. Most of the tickets we issue are probably $50 tickets, but the most common ticket is probably what we would call improper parking, which is usually one of two things. It's either having a permit and being in the wrong area, or being parked in an area that requires a permit, not having a permit.
Surprisingly, Porter notes that there is no correlation between the growing student population and the amount of tickets issued.
every year for like the last 10 years, we've written fewer parking tickets. And I don't think it's because we're not trying. Between people buying permits like they're supposed to, and people riding the bus like we want them to, and they're paying for it also, I think there are just fewer people parking illegally.
I'm Nancy Tyree, Hoosier News Source.
Though most of you celebrated the New Year back in January, some were still waiting for their own version. On the Chinese lunar calendar, last Thursday, February the 3rd, was the official beginning of 2011, the Year of Rabbit. Those Chinese students at IU did not have the chance to go back home and celebrate this important Chinese holiday. They are planning a celebration next week to make up for it. The Chinese Students and Scholars Association will have its annual celebration of Spring Festival next Sunday, February the 13th, at IU Auditorium. The CSSA said the celebration will follow the format of previous years, but will have new elements added to the show. Everyone is welcome to join the celebration, and delicious food will be served. And again, that event will be on Sunday, February the 13th.
This year, Bloomington Arts Week has been expanded to 11 days, starting February 11th and ending at 7 p.m. on February 26th with Spike Lee's speech at the IU Auditorium. Lee, who is most known for directing cult hits Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X, and the 2010 HBO documentary If God is Willing and the Creek Don't Shine, will focus on encouraging creativity and imagination in young people. Free tickets for IU students are available now, and general admission tickets for non-IU students will be available starting at 10 a.m. Wednesday, February 9th.
2 weeks have passed since demonstrators took to the streets of Cairo in protest, and things are not getting better. 7,000 miles away here in the United States, hope exists that it will. Tune in Hoosier News Source next week as I sit down to talk to 2 Egyptian students about how they feel they have been affected by the conflicts back home.
That should be a great interview, Kevin.
Yes, I talked to them, and they are really willing to help let them to get their message out to people here in Bloomington.
Also coming up are interviews with IUSA Tickets Big Ten, B-Town United, and Revive IU, who will talk about their platforms and why you should vote for them for your 2011 to 2012 Student Government Executive Board.
That's right. So make sure to check our website in the next couple of days for the exclusive interviews and specials on this year's IUSA campaign coverage.
Well, that's all we have for you today. Thanks for joining us this week on Hoosier News Source. Be sure to catch up on your entertainment and national news with hosts Brittany Bradley and Mike Walker on What's Up Weekly.
We will see you next week.
Bye.